Wow.
I wonder if they're about to get into some gameplay right now. Oh, no. Oh, shit! Man. For her anniversary. Maybe if I got her
some merch?
A shirt from DTmerch.com.
That's what I thought.
You know, that's what, baby, I was saving it as a surprise.
Yes.
But you know, I was have to spoil it. Baby, for your anniversary, I got all these wonderful shirts, caps, beanies, phone covers, baby. Baby, I'll tell you what I got for anniversary. I'm giving you the gift of choice. She's like, I'll choose a new husband. There are many ways to subscribe. I talk about using that Amazon account with our Amazon Pay button, putting that username, that password, press enter. Ooh, toasted goodness. All over. Baby, can you feel it? Oh, there it is. hit her late. There it is right there. Double Toast in Chicago. You see that we'll be at the Park West, Double Toast Live Chicago. Doors open at 7 p.m. Show starting at 8. Full night of comedy, games, prizes, music, and one big party at the end of the night. So there's 2 franchises out there that have got trailers this evening. And let me see here. I'm going to tell you what they are. Okay, I'll just tell you what they are. One is The Last of Us, and then the other is Resident Evil. And I'm really curious about Resident Evil 2 is what they're talking about.
See that.
Resident Evil 2 Remake. We'll jump into it in a little bit. I hope a lot of people have enjoyed some of the stuff that's coming out of E3. We were talking about E3 earlier today and some of the things that go on there. We looked at some of the most awkward moments, had a good laugh, talked a little trash about it. And the truth of the matter is that we actually do enjoy E3. We enjoy all the previews that come out of there because we're fans of a lot of the games that come out of there. Now, let's see what we have here. This is one that I'm looking forward to. So, this is the trailer. It's a shorter trailer, so we're going to show it first. This is a trailer for Resident Evil 2. Now, I believe this is not a direct sequel to Resident Evil 7, right? This is...
No.
It's a complete remake, which is funny. That's why I was confused about this, because I thought once Resident Evil 7 came out, that was the new direction that they wanted to go in. And if you've seen it, it's still part of the Resident Evil universe, but they've started with different characters. They've gone back to like true horror with it. They've gone back to having a helpless character that has to run most of the time instead of fight. You know, the flee before you fight, and it added the tension to the game. So when they're getting into Resident Evil 2, which is a remake, and is based on the old game that came out like 20 years ago or close to it.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. That I was kind of confused about that, but a lot of people are raving about it. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's still horror. It was a great sequel to the first Resident Evil, and it's one of my favorite games that came out. But I'm surprised they wanted to do a remake of it. I thought they would have done something else. So let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer for Resident Evil 2 Remake. And we'll come back and give you our reaction to that. Well, they ain't fucking around, huh?
Yeah, god damn.
I wonder if they're about to get into some gameplay right now. Oh, no. Oh, shit! Man! I was about to press the button after shit popped out. Like, oh, fuck! You know what, man? I'm dying to see some gameplay here, but I'm glad to see that they captured the moodiness. It's good to see that they, that the trailer, man, the trailer didn't shy away from the violence, man. This is one of the times that it really does, like the gore feels painful. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, they kind of caught up to where Walking Dead is right now, right?
Yeah.
The Fear the Walking Dead, they've had some precedents of showing gore and showing how disgusting and how raw it can be as far as, somebody to bite into your skin and rip it off. So they've seen that done, so now they can emulate it in these games now. That shit is scary.
It's true. You remember in the original game when a zombie would get you like and like little red pixels would come out.
Little bubbles come out your neck.
Yeah, not here, man.
That's cute.
No, not here. No, No, they pulling that raw steak out your ass right there. Ooh, like the muscle and the sinew in there and everything. And I like the way the zombie's like, yeah, look at this shit, look good, don't it? I'm still bothered about Leon. Looks like he still just got out of a boy band, you know? It looks like Justin Bieber's playing the role even more now than before. I thought that they could actually man him up just a little bit more, just a little bit. You know, he got that boy band flop of hair going over his head. What's up? You want me to explain this story to you? Go, no, please do. Please. Yeah, take the microphone. There it is right there. Yeah, what's up?
You gotta remember, this is before the other Resident Evil game. He's barely started in Raccoon City. He's really young. He's like 20-something year old.
No,
he
you know what?
Face in that moment in time in the series.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. I just thought that they just maybe would have like given him like just a shorter haircut, man him up just a little bit. Look, Leon's always been a favorite character of mine because my favorite game out of the whole series, you know it is, Resident Evil 4.
I know. So you asked about gameplay. He's gonna play like Resident Evil 4.
Now, you know what? Is that going to be the case? Because I tell you something. I'm looking at this, and at least with the mood in the game. Everybody talks about Resident Evil 4, but I thought that Resident Evil 2 was always a good marriage between the horror of the game, a good balance, and more action elements.
That is right, but you gotta remember.
That looks like gameplay.
Yeah, that is gameplay. That is third-person gameplay right there. Because you gotta remember, at the time, the PlayStation 1 didn't have enough processing power to actually fully render the environment, fully render all the characters on screen. So it had to be fixed camera position.
Fixed backgrounds.
Exactly. So now that we have the horsepower, they have the GPU and CPU power, they can pretty much take that really nice, crisp gameplay that Resident Evil 4 is known for. And if we know about it, like every single Resident Evil after the 4 has adopted that gameplay, being the exception 6.
And you know what?
6, 7, sorry.
And Leon's part in Resident Evil 6 was kind of atmospheric and creepy, and it looks like this might be an improvement because the game was bad, Resident Evil 6, but it looks like this taking that Leon part from Resident Evil 6 and improving on it with this right here. I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. If you're going back to some of the original gameplay and like actually improving on, since you have the engine to do it now, improving on the graphics and the power that you have and making those. It was something about those fixed backgrounds that were always great, though, because they did really feel claustrophobic.
Oh, it felt claustrophobic.
It was a combination of the static backgrounds and having your character move in like in an axis. You couldn't run everywhere. You kind of spin then move. So it kind of messed with you, and you had to move the character around with your controller because you couldn't just run where you wanted. It wasn't analog. You know, it was very digital, so you had to move to the left, move to the right to spin, and then you could run straight. So you couldn't stray for anything. You just ran straight.
Everybody called your character a tank. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you can, that was a limitation, the tank movement, but I always like the claustrophobic feel of not being able to move that well and have these tight backgrounds. But hey, man, if we can recreate that and put it into a dynamic, space, space you can actually inhabit and move around, like we do with most games now, I guess with third-person, views. That's great, man.
Because I played Resident Evil 2 a lot. I finished that game a lot. And just looking through these atmospheres and these different environments, I don't remember anything. None of this shit looks familiar to me. So it's going to be like a brand new game, which is kind of cool.
I remember, I played the game so much, I remember a lot about it. And let me say not a lot. I remember more than I thought I did. And I remember some of the things that they could bring in from that game and apply to this. Because I remember a lot of they talked about how you were in a city, but everything was narrow. All the alleys were, they did that on purpose, and the alleys were narrow. The workspaces that people worked in were narrow. And I think that's cool to do that. And I'm just wondering, how scary is it going to be now when you're actually able to move through that freely and it's still a tight corridor to get through? It's still, you still have to maneuver through these claustrophobic spaces, but now they're even more dynamic.
Here's the thing, I disagree. I don't really think they did that on purpose. That was all technology based. At the time, that was the technology that they had, so they had to custom make everything into it. There's more than possible. We have seen in media, and if you give the player a little more room to breathe, you can still have that atmospheric, claustrophobic feeling. It's just that it's going to be highly more detailed. There's going to be more stuff around it.
Yeah, I agree with you to a certain extent. I think, to your point, they knew the limitations of what they had.
Of course.
And then they said, let's use those limitations because
Yeah,
the
they
game has
played it
been
up.
known for like actually say we want to create these claustrophobic environments.
At the same time, my understanding is that they're using Unreal Engine 4, so it's the same game engine that Gears of War runs on. So I'm, looking forward to the graphics, what they can pull, and how far they can put the technology in this one.
Yeah, hey man. I like that they're breathing new life into the franchise by starting new and also coming back and bringing some of your old favorites. Oh, what's up, man?
No, I'm saying those liquors are going to be a pain in the ass now. They were a pain in the ass back then. They're going to be even worse now, I think.
Oh, they're going to lick
those
the
liquor monsters.
Yeah, they're going to lick the shit out of you, man.
Oh, yeah. They're going to lick the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to love it.
And you'll love every every little wet swipe. You know what? I'm looking very much forward to this. I'm glad they're doing this with
Big fan.
Yeah, Mia says her too, man. She's looking forward to me like ignoring her and playing this game all night.
Well, this game is going to scare the shit out of you.
Yes. Yeah, let me see here. I'm looking to see what the chat has to say about this, man. Somebody says they've never played a Resident Evil game. You should, man.
Okay.
You know what? And you know something? I think what's cool about Resident Evil now is that you don't really have to go back and play some of the old games. If you play Resident Evil 7, you're going to get kind of a feeling of what they did with some of the old games. Although you'll be missing some of the...
You'll be missing too much.
Because there's more variety of like creatures in those games.
Yeah. I like that game, but to a certain point, it felt so repetitive because you kept fighting the same bosses, the same monster over and over again. And I think that was the first Resident Evil I never finished. I like it. I like it for what it is.
Yeah.
But it still would never, got even close to what 4 did.
I thought they...
Or 2.
I thought they did some cool things with it that they weren't able to do back then, which is why I admire what they do now. But hey, look, everybody's gonna be getting a taste of Resident Evil, one way or another. So this is a good time to jump back into it. And it's a great time to be a fan of the series if you've been a fan of it before. That I'll tell you this about Resident Evil and what they're doing now. At least they're listening to the fans. They say, you went a little bit too action oriented. Now you need to jump back and get to the real skates.